cinemas, and the only other thing that we have seen this week is a film called Joyride,
Joyride, yes.
yeah, which might fall into the category of small, good British film that isn't really on anywhere. So Shaun, you saw this, and
I did see this.
the fact that you saw this week makes me think that you might be back in Bournemouth.
No, no, I actually saw this. It's actually on the Isle of Wight.
It's on the Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight, yes, it's on at the Isle of Wight. I did ask Sharon, but it was a bit of a late show, and it's one of those really strange. We were talking about this with the timings because the railway children. The timings are just way out, aren't they? For us to,
it was 2:00 in the afternoon or like 9:00 in the evening.
Yeah, so the performance I saw was 9:00. So yeah, but I was the only one in the cinema. Which is quite interesting. It's quite nice.
So because on the timings thing, that's a big reason why I haven't been to the cinema in 5 weeks. Apart from the fact that they haven't really been releasing anything. They haven't really not much has been released. But at the same time, also the stuff that has been released, the timings are just all over the place. And I'm like, so who's supposed to go see that? I finish work, I get but maybe I just need to be better organizing my time. But Shaun, Joyride, tell us about it.
Okay, Joyride. It's an Irish film.
Yep.
It's an Irish film. Yep, Irish film. And it starts off, it's like an Irish workman's club, and there's been this charity event for this lady or this young lad. It's a sort of coming of age with this young lad. He does a Minnie the Mooch, and he's got all this charity money that people have donated, but his father swipes it all. So because he's got a lot of gambling debts, but the boy swipes it back and jumps in a taxi and drives off, and in the back of the taxi there's this lady, Joy, and with the baby. So but they just take off, and so you've got this strange combination of Joy. She's like an older lady that's had this young child and doesn't really want it, and she's taking it to I don't know if it's a sister, or she's taking it somewhere to give it away basically, and the little boy that the young lad's driving, and so they have this it's a bit messy really. It's a bit of a messy film. I'm not really sure where it was going, or at the end of what it was supposed to be. Anyway, so it's these two in a relationship. She doesn't want the baby, but there are times when she sort of thinks a bit more towards it because of this young boy saying about his mum and that, and his dad, and obviously his dad's trying to get the money back. So his dad's after the
taxi.
The taxi, and there's a few flashbacks, it started off quite interesting. I thought, this is quite good. It's quite, but then it just, I don't know, it sort of lost its way for me. It lost its way, and I didn't really know what it wanted to be. I think the film didn't know what it wanted to be, really, to be honest with you. And
but what are the options of what it could have been?
Well, I don't know. I suppose a melodrama about a film about domestic violence, or if it was I would say it's more of a coming of age thing, because the lad who's must be, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that. There's a lot of swearing in it, but so I would say it's a coming of age drama where he's sort of coming to terms with the relationship of the loss of his mother, and his father's not exactly the nicest peg, and so he's got this conflict with his father. He's got the conflict that because his father wants him, but his father's not really good, and he just wants some money to give to what he owes. So
it sounds like there's also a bit of a road movie setup in there, because
it's a sort of a road movie setup. They take the back roads, so there's a few nice shots of scenery, and there's a shot of a ferry, and so you get all that. But as I say, for me personally, I think it was a little bit messy, and it didn't really. It's a shame, really, because sometimes these little indie films, as you know, what I've watched recently, perhaps I was expecting too much, maybe, because I've seen a couple of good ones. So this didn't do it for me, really.
Especially when it's got Olivia Colman in it. Because
Olivia Colman, she plays Joy, and I mean, she was
saying below her age, because
No, she wasn't. This is the whole thing. This is what
playing
the
an
story.
older woman with a baby.
An older woman with a baby that's had the baby. And there's a bit in it where you don't know if as I say, there's a strange bit where they get a hotel when the father turns up, and there's something that goes on there, and it's like, ooh, I didn't know. I didn't really. I thought that was a bit odd. And then he goes, "Oh, I saw you with," yeah. So she can't bond with the baby basically to start with. So all this way through, he's saying, "Oh, you can't give her away." And that's the one thing. The lad is really good at looking after the baby and feeding the baby. So he sort of takes the role, takes a lot of pressure off her. But he goes, and he helps her to breastfeed. So because he said, she doesn't breastfeed, and the milk gets spilt, the thingy milk. So he says, this is how you've got to do it. I've watched my sister, do it with her, and so this is what you got to do. You got to let. So there's yeah. So it's, but as I say, it's I don't know. It's difficult to call this one really. I'd probably say, I suppose it's got to be a 3. It can't be a 2 because it's not that bad. So, but it wasn't. Let's just say it wasn't a. Whereas Bullet Train was a super solid 3. This is more of a lower.
This is a war 3. Just about getting the 3 the skin of your teeth.
What I would really like, I really would like Shaun's take on this. I would really, if she ever sees it on the TV Sunday afternoon or something. Because
I saw a trailer for it, and you know what? Even though the trailer is only 2.5 minutes, probably 3 minutes long, I didn't really feel interested enough to find out any more. I thought, you know what? I think I've seen enough from the trailer to know that I'm not that bothered.
And I think you're probably right, Shaun. As I say, I thought I'd do this to sort of take one for the team. So
had it been on at an earlier time, I probably would have joined you and thought, okay.
For those of you listening to us for the first time, Shaun does this often. Shaun takes one for the team. Shaun looks up and goes, I don't think I'm going to like that, but we need to talk about stuff on this podcast. So
I will see the film that no one else does.
Yeah, that's it. So if they're about, I mean, it's so.
When you're in Thailand, I had to do that.
Yeah.
And so a few times I would drag myself thinking, okay, I can be a Shaun on this occasion.
Good for you, yeah.
I tried to be a Shaun once when you were in Thailand. I was like, I'm going to go and try and see everything this week. It nearly killed me. I don't know how you do it. So 3 stars. Three stars. Just about 3 stars for Joyride.
Just about 3 stars, yeah.
All right, cool. So we have